Part 103. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1021. When Xiao exited and glanced at the door of the master bedroom. It's 8 o'clock. Are you still sleeping? Not his style. She walked to the door and turned the door handle. The light inside was dim. For a moment, her eyes could not adapt to the darkness. She groped her way into the room. When she reached the bed, a hand suddenly reached out and pulled her to the bed. Well. The man seemed a little angry and bit her while kissing her. Wen Xiao felt that the corners of her mouth were broken. What's the big deal? He wasn't injured in the fight with Hizawei, but he was bitten by Fu Nanli when he turned around. Sure enough, Fu Nanli was her only nemesis. Fu Nanli reached out and pressed the remote control on the bedside table. The curtain slowly opened, and the sun shone in. The man's deep eyes roamed on her face. Did you go to Hangzhou yesterday? Wen Xiao said bravely, what's wrong? Went to the beach. Wen Xiao nodded, yes. The man's rough fingertips pinched her soft skin. Are you wearing a sun hat? Wen Xiao's mind was a little confused. I don't really wear these. Where's the sunscreen? Just wipe it off a little. How long have you been sunbathing on the beach? Wen Xiao thought about it in his mind and gave it some time. I was on the beach for 7 or 8 hours and went back at night. I was so tired that I went to bed after taking a shower. I woke up suddenly in the middle of the night and saw the call you made. Sent you a message. Fu Nanli's Adam's apple slid up and down, and his voice was low. You have been sunbathing on the beach for 7 or 8 hours. The highest temperature in Hangzhou yesterday was 38 degrees. Your skin is not red at all, and it is still so fair. Wen Xiao, I tend to be more aggressive. Fu Nanli pinched her earlobe. Wen Xiao, I'll give you another chance and say it again. Wen Xiao, what did you say? Fu Nanli, where have you been these past few days? Joined forces with your uncle to deceive me, huh? Wen Xiao's smile showed a double-mindedness. Don't be suspicious, I won't lie to you. Fu Nanli's voice softened. Wen Xiao, where did you go and what did you do? You clearly said that I am the most important person to you. Why can't I know things that your brother-in-law can know? You are like this, is it fair to me? Wen Xiao felt a little distressed, for him and for herself. She reached out under his armpits, gently stroked his back, and said after careful consideration, Gu Xiao, he's awake. Fu Nanli frowned. What did you say? Gu Xiao, wake up. My uncle performed the surgery himself. He has been operating on him these past few days. I followed him and performed the surgery. Fu Nanli's eyes darkened and he pinched her waist. So you went to Hizawei? Wen Xiao nodded. Well, I went with my uncle. I have taken some countermeasures. If Hizawei dares to do anything, your mobile phone will receive my distress signal immediately, and in Heiken, he dare not unscrupulous. Fu Nanli was really angry. You didn't tell me? Then you went to Hizawei's residence. Wen Xiao, you. Wen Xiao looked at his handsome face and felt confused, because I made some exchanges with Hizawei. The matter is complicated. I don't want you to be involved. Fu Nanli's face looked as if it had been dipped in frost. Wen Xiao, why do you have to pick me out for everything? What do you think of me? Wen Xiao, I regard you as the most important person, and I don't want you to get hurt. Fu Nanli became even more angry, almost gritting his teeth and roaring, Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao lowered his eyes and said nothing. Fu Nanli softened his voice again when he saw the stern look in her eyes. How could he bear to hurt her? He was just so angry that he lost his mind. Recommend articles from friends, sweet articles in the entertainment industry, very exciting, just click on the portal below. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1022. What deal did you make with Hizawei? Chiao, you have to let me know. You should know that I am a very rational person. When Chiao lowered his eyes were tangled and complicated, and he said after a while, you are not the only one in the world who has the same blood as me. Staying with those people is useless to my health, but if I can collect their blood, each of them can collect a small amount. In the end, you won't need to give me a blood transfusion. This is the best way. Fu Nanli was speechless for a moment. She did a lot of things for his sake, and she shouldered a lot silently alone. Why does Hizawei want to exchange with you? Wen Qiao said softly, he traded Gu Xiao's life. My brother-in-law is probably the only one in the world who can save Gu Xiao. He has already given clues to 6 people, and finally left one. The card is in my hand. My uncle said that there are still 2 years. In these 2 years, I will try my best to get the blood of these people. 600 milliliters per person is enough. His fingers were clasped tightly with hers, and his hands were pressed on the pillow. His eyes were pious and his expression was scorching. Wen Qiao, I am willing to give you everything. If that day really comes, he is willing to trade one life for another. You saved my life. Without you, Fu Nanli would have died in that car accident. Wen Qiao finally raised his eyes to look at him. I went to save you just to stay with you and save my life. It's like forming a Mobius strip. Anyway, you saved my life. I owe you this. Wen Qiao reached out and hugged his neck. No need to thank me, let's live well together. He held her in his arms. In the midsummer morning, it was silent. He could only hear the chirping of cicadas outside, as if they were far away in the horizon. Everything seemed a little unreal. After a while, Fu Nanli said, Gu Xiao is awake. Wen Qiao. Gu Xiao, all these years of admiration and love have been wrongly paid. My brother only has Wen Qiao in his eyes. Who am I? The operation performed by your uncle was successful. Wen Qiao, yes. Fu Nanli breathed a sigh of relief. Just wake up. Then will he stay in the country or return to country M? Wen Qiao shrugged, that's not clear. When my uncle and I left, he couldn't speak. Hizawei probably wouldn't let him stay. 2 days later, in the He family's mansion deep in the mountains, Hizawei stood beside the hospital bed and glanced at the person on the bed, his expression not very good. What did you say? Gu Xiao said word by word, I want to stay in Haikan. Hizawei pressed his temples, no, I will send you back to country M immediately when you are almost recovered. Gu Xiao, I don't like it there. You have to go back whether you like it or not. And you? Hizawei said lightly, I'll stay here. Gu Xiao, why can you stay here but I can't? In fact, when Hizawei faced Gu Xiao, he did whatever he wanted to do, and he was not very merciful. You are so fragile, how can you compare with me? You went to Fu Nanli for revenge after being provoked. Do you have how many lives can be wasted here? Gu Xiao closed his eyes, I won't do it anymore. Anyway, I want to stay here. You were not born here, nor did you grow up here, why do you insist on staying here? Gu Xiao, Grandma is here. She must have been very sad after I passed out. I want to stay here with her from now on. I want to live my life well. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1023. If you can't bear to leave your grandma, I'll let her go back to country M with you. Gu Xiao loudly said, she won't want to. She has lived here all her life. How can I let her wander in a foreign country when she is old? Hizawei's face darkened, Are you reluctant to let go of Wen Qiao or Fu Nanli? Gu Xiao lowered his eyes again and said stubbornly, no. How did you develop such a sentimental temperament? Gu Xiao looked helpless, and He Ziwei's forehead was throbbing with veins. It's up to you. If you get hurt by Fu Nanli and Wen Qiao again, don't expect me to care about you anymore. Gu Xiao said with hope in his eyes, when I was unconscious, I seemed to hear Wen Qiao's voice, right? He Ziwei didn't want to say it, but seeing the light in his eyes, it was rare for him to have some empathy. What? You want Wen Qiao to come see you? If your life and Fu Nanli's life are threatened, who do you think she will save? Gu Xiao didn't say anything. The answer in his heart was that he could save his brother first. Professor Su saved me, right? He Ziwei said coldly, you should have a good rest. After that, he left the room. Gu Xiao was lying on the bed, with a needle inserted into the back of his hand. Saline water slowly dripped into his veins along the slender dropper. The warm sunshine outside was partially blocked by the blinds. This is what it feels like to be alive. A long-lost feeling. Thinking of what he did before he fell into a coma, he felt a little panicked. How would he face his brother when they saw him again? Does he still have the face to face him? After listening to a few words from my mother and a few words from the reporter, I suspected that the leak of the illegitimate child was caused by my brother's arrangement, so he did such a ridiculous thing. He closed his eyes and exhaled. Let it go. It's midsummer and the heat is intense. At the hottest time, King Yusing starts its promotion. Of course Zhou Tao knew that Junling had signed a contract with Huihe Company. Huihe and Nanqiao were the two most promising new entertainment companies in the industry, with unlimited potential. And this TV series that the two of them collaborated on can be said to be a strong alliance. The TV series is scheduled to be broadcast on One Star, and there will also be dual-platform broadcasts on MTV and Dokang. It is worth mentioning that MTV, which was at the bottom at the beginning, now ranks first in terms of user count because of its cooperation with Wen Qiao. The ending song of King Yusing is a song composed by Song Yuchen, a male idol who debuted in the C position last summer. It is tailor-made for this TV series, and it is catchy to sing. It is foreseeable that if this TV series becomes popular, this song will definitely become popular. During the promotion, Song Yuchen also traveled to several cities with the crew. Wen Qiao called Zhou Tao, if you don't want to promote it, that's okay. Just let Junling promote it with the other creators. Zhou Tao replied to her, it's okay. The more I don't show up, the more outsiders speculate. They really think there is something between me and Junling that makes me afraid to share the stage with him. Therefore, every time Lu Wenzhou looked at the screen of his mobile phone, Zhou Tao was always standing on the stage with Junling at the same time, and even smiled at Junling without any distractions, and he felt very depressed. There was a hint of sourness in his tone. It's very difficult for female celebrities. I don't like male celebrities, but they have to leave the stage. Wang Hui knew that his second master was very envious. Second master, actually, I think you look better than Junling. Why don't you follow the example of third young master and enter the entertainment industry? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1024. In that case, Miss Zhou would have to get along with the second master because of work. Ms. Zhou is a dedicated actress. After saying this, he received a cold look from his second master. Wang Hui gritted his teeth and said, third young master is not bad as an actor. Third young master is very popular. Second master, you must be too. Lu Wenzhou's face became increasingly ugly, and Wang Hui quickly shut up. Lu Wenzhou looked at the people on the screen. They promoted it in a small auditorium of a university, and two student representatives came on stage. The girl looked at Zhou Tao and Junling excitedly, her face flushed, I watched the promotional clips on the internet. Zhou Tao, Junling, I am a CP fan of both. Lu Wenzo's face turned a little green. What does CP powder mean? Wang Hui didn't dare to speak. Lu Wenzo tooted softly, you talk a lot when I don't want you to. But when you do, you become mute. Wang Hui could only say, CP means couple. I hope they are a couple, whether it is in a TV series or in real life. Lu Wenzo's tone was a little angry, you really know a lot. Wang Hui felt that he had been wronged and died. He originally didn't want to explain, but the second master wanted to hear it himself, but after hearing this, he felt troubled and blamed him. Accompanying you is like accompanying a tiger. The female college student on the screen looked at Zhou Tao and Junling infatuatedly. Zhou Tao had a dedicated fake smile on her face. For a moment, Lu Wenzo couldn't tell whether her smile was a professional fake smile or one from the bottom of her heart. What a laugh. The female college student asked again, can I take a photo with you? Zhou Tao, of course. The female college student asked Zhou Tao and Junling to stand together, while she stood beside Zhou Tao, holding up the selfie stick in her hand, and clearly arranged Zhou Tao and Junling. Smile, teacher Junling, please come closer. Zhou Tao could feel Junling's body slowly approaching, so she instinctively leaned closer to the female college student, her eyes drooping, which was an instinctive resistance. If there was such a seemingly non-existent move, Junling noticed it and did not get closer. The smiling face on the screen seemed not to be affected at all. The female college student pressed the shutter button and took this photo. The host was still talking, but Zhou Tao was a little bit lighted up by the headlights on the stage. She was wearing clothes carefully selected by the costume designer, stepping on 9-centimeter stilettos, holding a microphone, and acting like a qualified and competent woman. A female artist is promoting a new drama on the same stage as a male artist who has been rumored to have been involved in scandals. This is her first TV series and she hopes it will do well. Fortunately, the male idol Song Yuchen has many talents. He can sing and dance, and he is also very good at talking. Many female college students at the scene are here for him, so she doesn't need to hold a tightrope all the time. Finally, she breathed a sigh of relief when she heard the host say, that's it for today's activities. The staff arranged to leave, and Zhou Tao walked towards the stage. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Junling walking towards him, so she walked towards the stage. The stage of this small auditorium is about 1 meter above the ground, which is a bit high. It is covered with wooden floors. It is September, and there is a gap between the wooden floors, and the heels of high heels suddenly got stuck in it. Zhou Tao's heart skipped a beat and she panicked. She saw Junling approaching her again. She pulled out the heel that was stuck in the seam, tripped and fell to the bottom of the stage. Junling stepped forward, grabbed her wrist, and fell down together with her. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1025. With a bang, the two fell to the bottom of the stage. Junling blocked Zhou Tao and groaned. The audience hadn't retreated completely, and the live camera hadn't even been turned off yet. Lu Wenzo was clearly watching all this happen before his eyes. Seeing Zhou Tao about to fall to the ground and helpless. Seeing Junling desperately holding her hand and covering it for her. Watching them fall to the ground together, watching Junling cushion Zhou Tao, and watching many female students excitedly taking photos. Zhou Tao's face turned pale, and the scandal that was finally cleared up might come back again. Are you okay? Junling asked in a low voice. Zhou Tao struggled to stand up. I'm fine, I'm fine. She tried her best to prove that she was fine, but found that she could not stand up at all. Her right ankle seemed to be sprained and she was in terrible pain. The male idol Song Yuchen jumped off the stage and reached out to pull her. How dare Zhou Tao? Junling is a highly trafficked actor in the entertainment industry, while Song Yuchen is one of the top celebrities in the idol industry. She couldn't afford to offend these two, or else she would be torn to pieces by their fans. She put her hands on her ankles and looked around helplessly, looking for someone who could help her. Seeing how hard she tried to distance herself from the relationship, Junling couldn't help but feel distressed. He lowered his voice and said, "You probably have a sprained foot. I'll take you to the hospital." Zhou Tao's assistant Xiao Ai rushed over, and Zhou Dekai finally seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw and held her hand. "Xiao Ai." Xiao Ai was carrying a bag and a water bottle, and reached out to help her. "I just went out to see if the driver was here. Why did you fall?" Zhou Tao reluctantly stood up, took off her high heels, and stood on one foot on the ground. "My right foot may be sprained. Come with me to the hospital." Xiao Ai barely supported her. I can't carry you." Xiao Ai is less than 160, and Zhou Tao is nearly 170. Xiao Ai really can't carry it on his back. Zhou Tao put her hand on Xiao Ai's shoulder. "It's okay, I can walk on one foot." Xiao Ai looked around. Except for Junling, the men present were Song Yuchen. She knew Zhou Tao. At this time of crisis, she definitely didn't want to have any contact with these top people. She looked at a male staff member at the scene for help. "Brother Hai," a male staff member, quickly jumped down from the stage. "Teacher Zhou Tao, if you can't walk, I will carry you." Zhou Tao glanced at the auditorium. It was far away from the door. After going out, it was still some distance to the parking lot. When did she have to jump with one foot? All he could say was, "It's really troublesome for you." Brother Hai carried Zhou Tao on his back, and the gentleman clenched his hands into fists without touching her legs. He was supported by Xiao Ai and ran out. Junling lowered his hands with a complicated expression. His assistant Huang Xian came forward. "Brother, you fell off the stage just now. Are you injured?" "It's okay, not hurt." Song Yuchen chased Zhou Tao and the others out of the small auditorium. In the mansion, Wang Hui glanced at his second master. The second master, who witnessed the whole process, looked very ugly. "Follow me and see which hospital she was sent to, see if she is seriously injured, and then give me the news." "Does second master want to see her?" Lu Wenzhou didn't answer, and Wang Hui didn't dare to ask any more questions. Zhou Tao was sent to the hospital. After a B ultrasound was taken, he found that his right foot was sprained, but no bones were injured. After the bone was reattached, he rested for 10 or 8 days and then everything was fine. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1026. She was sent to the inpatient unit for one night for observation. And the whole time, Song Yuchen, the top idol in the idol world, was always with him. Zhou Tao whispered to Xiao Ai, "Why does he keep following me?" Xiao Ai said angrily, "How do I know? Are you familiar with each other?" Zhou Tao was helpless. "I'm not familiar with him at all. We only had a little contact with him this time when he gave us the ending song of the TV record. We've never had any interactions before." Zhou Tao was lying on the hospital bed. Xiao Ai went to the door of the ward to adjust the temperature of the air conditioner. He spread his hands and said, "Then why did he follow him the whole time? What does he want to do? I have to go online and check it out." After saying that, he took out his cell phone, sat beside the hospital bed and started scrolling through Weibo. His face darkened. "It's terrible, his fans are getting ready to move." Zhou Tao leaned on the head of the bed and stretched out his hand to rub his temples. "Why are you so ready to do something?" "Xiao Ai, you are said to have a scandal physique. Any male star who works with you will not be able to escape the fate of being hyped. Zhou Tao had a headache, so they couldn't see that I was injured just now. In order not to involve Junling too much, they endured the pain and didn't need him to take me to the hospital, right? They only see what they want to see. What they see is what they imagine you to be. They have stamped you as a hype-loving person, so what you do doesn't matter. They only blind their eyes. Go ahead according to your own knowledge. Zhou Tao was a little irritated, let them do whatever they want. After a while, Xiao Ai screamed again. What's wrong? Song Yuchen, he posted on Weibo. Zhou Tao was worried for a moment, what did you say? He said that he likes and appreciates you very much. The ending song of this TV series is an opportunity that he took the initiative to get close to you and pursue you. He said that you are very good and he avoids suspicion with male stars. Zhou Tao was stunned for a few seconds, did he say it himself? Yes, he posted a Weibo message, clearly expressing his love for you and saying that he wanted to pursue you. His big fans were stunned. Zhou Tao didn't know what to say for a moment, he is an idol and a top-notch person who relies on fans to make a living. Why does he dare to do this? This is another young man who dreams of being in the entertainment industry. He is probably just playing for fun. If the fans displease him, he will quit the industry. Moreover, he does have musical talent. He can be a producer behind the scenes rather than an idol in front of the stage. So be confident. Zhou Tao felt a headache. I want to quietly film in the entertainment industry, why is it so difficult? Xiao Ai teased, it's not because you are so beautiful. It's really difficult to be peaceful with your face. There was a knock on the door, and when Song Yuchen came in, dusk was rising, and a layer of dim light enveloped the ward. He walked in with 2 paper bags in his hand and a smile on his face. I ordered takeout for you. I ordered pig's feet and soybean soup for Zhou Tao, as well as beef ribs and some vegetables. The other one is for Xiao Ai, and I also ordered some fruits. Zhou Tao said quickly, I'm really troubling you today, teacher Song. Song Yuchen is the same age as her, 22 years old. She just pretended that she didn't see his statement on Weibo, and she really didn't want to have too much contact with this top figure in the idol world. Song Yuchen is handsome, and his smile is a bit silly, just call me Yuchen, no need to call me teacher Song. Zhou Tao, just call according to the rules. Although Song Yuchen expressed his stance, he did not pester Zhou Tao too much. He put down the food and left the ward. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1027. The sky outside is getting darker inch by inch. At about 7 o'clock, it started to rain outside, and the heat had subsided a little. Xiao Ai cut the apple, inserted it with a toothpick, and gave it to Zhou Tao. Zhou Tao took a bite and asked, how much does it cost to buy these? Add Song Yuchen's WeChat account and transfer the money to him. Xiao Ai, can he want it? Otherwise, I'll see what I can buy and send it to him next time. Zhou Tao, that's okay, just remember it. Don't forget it. Don't worry, I won't forget it. When Lu Wenzhou arrived, it was 8:30 in the evening. He had people clear the place in advance, contacted the director of the hospital, and arranged for him to come in through the staff passage. There were no reporters guarding him. He stood outside Zhou Tao's ward and watched. She was the only one inside. Her assistant had gone somewhere, and through a small window, she saw Zhou Tao getting out of bed with a cane beside him. Zhou Tao picked up the crutch, supported it a little, and went to the bathroom. When she came out, she limped and put the crutch on the bedside. The crutch collapsed. She forgot about her sprained foot and thought when he reached out to reach it, his center of gravity was unstable and he fell to the ground. What bad luck! Lu Wenzhou broke into the ward without even having time to knock on the door. Zhou Tao didn't look back, thinking it was Xiao Ai who was back, and stretched out her hand, help me. Lu Wenzo held her hand and tried to help her. As soon as he held her hand, Zhou Tao realized something was wrong. Xiao Ai's hand was so small, but now, the hand holding hers was very big and strong, with clear joints. She suddenly looked back and saw that it was Lu Wenzo, and she was instinctively frightened. The frightened face made Lu Wenzo's chest feel tight. Is he some kind of scourge? Is she always so afraid of him? Zhou Tao instinctively wanted to pull away her hand, but Lu Wenzo held it tightly and said in a very soft voice, "I'll help you up first." Zhou Tao stretched out her hand to hold the bedside, turned around, and said in a low voice, "No need." Lu Wenzo didn't listen to her. He half crouched and then picked her up horizontally. Zhou Tao felt helpless for a moment, and her whole body was stiff. Reflecting the dim rain outside the window, he had never seen such a scene. He knew that he had missed a lot in those 2 years. He gently placed the person on the hospital bed, and Zhou Tao immediately shrank back. When we entered the hospital, there were many reporters following us. When I came, the place was cleared. The reporters and self-media were all kicked out of the hospital. I came in through the staff passage. Zhou Tao felt a little dazed for a moment. Lu Wenzo had been lukewarm to her in the past, and he had never spoken to her so patiently and tenderly. Somewhat ridiculous. Are all men in the world like this? You only know regret when you lose it? It doesn't seem to be the case. Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli are not like this. She nodded to him politely and distantly, "I understand." There was an awkward silence in the ward. She leaned against the bedside, picked up her phone from the bedside table, and stared at the screen as if no one else was watching. It's like he doesn't exist. Zhou Tao originally wanted to use this indifferent treatment to make him leave on his own, but unexpectedly, he didn't leave even if she didn't speak. After about 20 minutes, he was able to endure it and kept sitting. She raised her head and glanced at the person sitting next to the bed. Their eyes met. She did not avoid or blink. "Mr. Lu, aren't you leaving yet?" Every time Lu Wenzo met Zhou Tao, they ended up breaking up on bad terms. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1028. He discovered that Zhou Tao was actually a soft-hearted person but strong at the same time. He looked soft and weak, but had a stronger heart than anyone else. "I saw the news on the internet. Are you seriously injured?" Zhou Tao said calmly, "Fortunately, it's just a sprain in my right foot. It's not broken. I'll just rest for a few days and it'll be fine." Lu Wenzo is a person who is not good at words. After asking the questions, he doesn't know what to say. "Don't wear high heels from now on." It took a long time before I finally found a topic. "It also looks dry. I am a female celebrity, and I need to wear high heels on many occasions." She still answered his questions in a calm, emotionless, and matter-of-fact manner. Lu Wenzo felt as if he was being attacked. Maybe she thought what he said was nonsense. "You can choose high heels that are not so thin and not so high." Zhou Tao made a tisk sound. Yes, that tisk sound was a little impatient, but it made Lu Wenzo freeze there. She could also be impatient. "I'm 22 years old, and I have a sense of proportion in everything I do. Don't worry about it, Mr. Lu. If Mr. Lu has nothing to say, then go out." Lu was thoroughly disliked. There was another moment of embarrassment. Lu Wenzo had no idea what Zhou Tao liked or what topics would resonate with her. She was younger than him, and she was in the colorful entertainment industry, while he was exposed to economics, financing, and financial stocks all day long. If he said this, she would probably doze off. He doesn't understand the entertainment industry gossip. The Jade Journey will be broadcast on July 16th, right? Zhou Tao's hand holding the phone trembled slightly. That indifferent work machine actually started talking about the entertainment industry. Although more than 50% of movie theaters in the country have the surname Liu, he is a high-ranking boss who only cares about policies and does not talk about trivial matters. Yes, she didn't feel awkward, and just treated it as a work matter. After all, she would also make a movie in the future, and it would be released in the Liu family's cinema. Just treat him as an ordinary investment boss. Lu Wenzhou didn't expect her to answer, but his brain suddenly stopped working again. What should he ask next? If Lu Su were here, the atmosphere would not be so tense. Lu Wenzhou's cell phone rang at the right time, and Zhou Tao saw the name on the caller ID at a glance, Zhonglina. All the past events suddenly came to mind again. At the entrance of the mall, she and Junling were filming a commercial, and the Christmas tree fell down. Lu Wenzhou immediately chose to protect Zhonglina, regardless of her safety. At that time, she was still his wife. Lu Wenzhou's face suddenly darkened and he immediately hung up the phone. The originally gentle atmosphere fell to the bottom in an instant. After hanging up the phone, Zhonglina called again, and Lu Wenzhou hung up again. Zhou Tao forced a smile. Miss Zhong probably has something important to ask you. You can go out and pick her up. Lu Wenzhou felt a little powerless for a moment. There were too many things standing between them. After a slight relaxation, they were thrown back to the starting point by sudden changes. She has nothing important to do. I have no contact with her. I don't know who to say this to. Zhou Tao found it a bit funny. When Mr. Lu and I were husband and wife, I couldn't control your contact with Miss Zhong. Now that we are divorced, I won't control it anymore. She leaned on the head of the bed, supported her chin with one hand, and said with a half smile, you and Miss Zhong have a very close relationship. You have cheered her up several times. You have always attended the parties she invited you to. Now that you are divorced, I thought you'll be with her. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1029. Lu Wenzhou thought that he had indeed shot himself in the foot. Not with her, not with her. Everything that happened with Zhonglina at the beginning was just to stimulate Zhou Tao and make her take the initiative to file for divorce. Now that they are really divorced, he regrets it again. The phone rang again. Zhou Tao gently flipped her hair and lowered her eyes. Please answer the phone. Don't keep Miss Zhong waiting for too long. She used to mind when they were still married, but now she doesn't care anymore. Lu Wenzhou stood up and said, I'll come see you again when I have time. Zhou Tao looked directly at him. No, you don't need to see me anymore. I will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow, so I won't waste Mr. Lu's time. Everything is back to square one. Lu Wenzhou could only leave the ward. Zhonglina called again. He answered the phone and walked to the staff passage with Wang Hui escorting him. Brother Wenzhou, why haven't you been answering people's calls lately? Is something wrong? His voice was as cold as winter ice and snow. Zhonglina's voice was coquettish. Tomorrow is my grandpa's 80th birthday. He is thinking about you. Can you come? I don't have time tomorrow. I'll let someone bring the gift to your grandpa. Zhonglina started acting coquettishly. Huh? Brother Wenzhou, do you have anything important to do? Grandpa has been talking about you. I haven't seen you for a long time. When I invite you back, you always say you are busy. But what are you doing? What are you busy with? But Lu Wenzhou said directly, I have to get busy with work matters first and hang up. He hung up the phone immediately. Zhonglina over there was so angry that she stamped her feet. In the past, Brother Wenzhou was quite nice to her. Whenever she invited him to any party, he would always appreciate it. But in the past 6 months, he has become even more mysterious. The dragon has never seen his head and tail, and he can't be found at all. It stands to reason that after he divorced Jotao, he should start looking for a new wife. She thought she would be the first candidate because Brother Wenzhou had always been special to her. But why did Brother Wenzhou alienate her after divorcing Jotao? Now Jotao is somewhat famous in the circle, and her scandals with 3 men were aroused some time ago. Only then did she know that the woman whom Brother Wenzhou didn't even look at when they met in a restaurant, was exactly Jotao. Zhonglina chuckled, what did she have to worry about? When the two were husband and wife, Brother Wenzhou ignored Jotao. Moreover, when the Christmas tree fell down, Brother Wenzhou immediately protected her and ignored Jotao. What's more, now that both of them were divorced, so she had no need to worry. It was still raining outside, and Lu Wenzhou got into the car. Through the dark windows, his eyes climbed up the windows one by one. She lived on the 6th floor, and there was a warm yellow light shining through the window. He took one more look, and then left. Jotao was lying on the bed. It was okay not to move, but her ankle still hurt so much if she moved it. She couldn't do anything. Xiaoai went back to help her get some changes of clothes and towels. She was alone at the moment. After being quiet for a while, the ward was pushed open again. She breathed a sigh of relief and felt relieved when she looked up and found Wen Qiao and Lu Yuyu coming in. Lu Yuyu was distressed while scolding her, "Why are you so careless? You keep getting injured. Junling gets close as soon as he gets close. There's no need to panic like that. You wear such high heels and the stage is so high. You only sprained your foot, already considered lucky. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1030. Jotao listened obediently as Mr. Xiaolu, who was 1 year younger than her, lectured her. When Qiao also shook his head, it was Junling who did the wrong thing, and he should be the one who feels guilty. "You don't need to be like this." Jotao shrugged, "His fans will selectively not see the things I do, and they won't see my avoidance of suspicion. Even if Junling takes the initiative to come closer, they will say that my style is not good, and that I support male celebrities. I'm really afraid of those fans, so just avoid them if you can." "Lu Yuyu, when Qiao and I came here, we saw a Bentley. I looked at the license plate number and it seemed to belong to Lu Wenzhou." Wen Qiao was stunned, "How come you even know Lu Wenzhou's license plate number? You have a wide range of interests." Lu Yuyu flipped her hair, "Isn't your father always involved in a wide range of interests?" Wen Qiao is still digesting this matter. Lu Yuyu turned around and asked Jotao, "Has Lu Wenzhou come to see you?" Jotao actually panicked for a moment and was a little incoherent. I. "Why are you panicking?" Jotao was like a child who had done something wrong. "He is here, I will let him go soon." Lu Yuyu was filled with indignation. One did things that hurt others in the name of love, and the other only discovered the goodness of his ex-wife after getting divorced. "I don't think any man is good." "Wen Qiao, have you asked Dong Yao what he meant when you said this?" Lu Yuyu covered her mouth, "Don't tell Dong Yao." "Wen Qiao, why are you so afraid of Dong Yao?" Lu Yuyu looked sad, "I'm not you. I can't defeat Dong Yao. You and Mr. Fu can still compete. I was crushed in front of Dong Yao." Wen Qiao coughed slightly. In fact, her combat effectiveness plummeted in front of Fu Nanli. It was just a matter between bed and bed, so she wouldn't tell them. Lu Yuyu said again, "Jotao, don't pay attention to Lu Er. No matter how badly he treated you before, you have to pay him back 100 times or 1,000 times." "Jotao, I ignored him." The two stayed with Jotao for a while, and then Xiaoai came back. Their boyfriends each came over with a series of fatal calls, and the two had to leave. Quietness returned to the ward. Jotao was a little envious. The relationship between the two of them is very pure, and there are no obstacles that cross boundaries between them. Xiaoai was making a folding bed aside, while Zhou Tao looked at the rain outside the window, stroking her cell phone with her fingers. The god of love has never patronized her, so she will probably have no choice but to work hard in her life and pursue her career with peace of mind. Pretty good too, she thinks. The next day, Lu Yuyu took the time to come over. Xiaoai went to handle the discharge surgery, while Lu Yuyu helped Zhou Tao pack her luggage. It was still raining outside, and the drizzle diluted the heat, and the long-lost coolness echoed in the ward. After Lu Yuyu packed up her things, she entered the private bathroom in the ward. As soon as he entered, there was a knock on the door. Zhou Tao raised his eyes and saw that the uninvited guest entered the ward in a majestic manner. Miss Zhonglina is wearing the latest bohemian-style dress of the Milan Fashion Week season. On a hot day, a white suit is draped over her shoulders. The 10-centimeter high heels are very aura, which is a standard Fashion Week dressing method. I heard that Brother Wenzo came to this hospital last night, right? She went around to find out the hospital where Zhou Tao was admitted, and then asked the hospital's senior management. If she couldn't find out, she asked her grandfather to go out, and finally found out the news.